This episode of CST is brought to you by Adam, who increased his patronage this week, which always brings a smile to our face. If you would like to help sponsor our show, you can do so at patreon.com/CST.
All right, so, you taping?
Not hot. Sea lion sunbathing.
Hello, Catherine.
Mac,
Yes.
the carnage that is on the floor in this room is...
If only people could see this room right now.
If only they could. If
Oh,
only there
wait.
was some way they could see the room.
They can. If they go to our YouTube channel, they can see the room. They cannot see the carnage, but they can see us right now.
Yeah, hand me the... Okay, so this used to be... if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the turtle that used to be full, and it used to make this really cool like sound, like a
grunt.
duck call.
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of.
a duck call.
Oh, my nose itches. Oh. But Max just recently removed its innards, and they're all over the floor. Oh man, Max. Mac had a really difficult moment earlier.
I did.
You did. You had I really was worried about you earlier. I was over the sink. I had cut open the wrappings of a pork loin, which is what we're having for supper. And I said, Mac, will you, because, I have my hand in the raw meat. And I said, Mac, will you get like some aluminum foil and put it on a pan for me so I can put this this pork loin on the foil? And I'm standing there leaning over the sink, meat in hand, and Mac is over on the other side of the kitchen. I hear him go, "Oh, this is just, why does this have to be like this? Pull this out right here. So why does life have to be so hard for me?" So he comes over to me with the aluminum.
I didn't say that yet.
With the aluminum foil box. And he's explaining to me how every time he goes to get the aluminum foil out, he has to dig the aluminum foil from underneath.
Surely
Life is hard.
someone else has noticed this phenomenon, right? Like when you pull the foil, right, and then you tear it, it tears at the top of the box, does it not?
It
doesn't tear at the bottom of the box.
right.
It tears at the top
And
of the
then
box.
when you go to get it, you gotta go and dig it
Then the next
out.
time you need some, not just then, but like a week from then or 2 or 3 days from then, somehow that roll has rolled around to the tear is at the bottom of the
It's
box.
difficult.
And you have to dig down and your cuticles get cut
I'm
against
sure
the
that the
blade.
children of Aleppo understand your plight so well, Mr. Barron.
I'm just saying the struggle is real. So aside from making fun of your husband, what else?
And
have
the
you been-
dog. I made fun of the dog, who is still at this moment pulling stuffing out.
It's remarkable how
The
much
turtle.
stuffing. I guess that's why they call it stuffing, because there's a lot in there.
All
right, so we went home this weekend.
we went home to Swainsboro.
What did we do last week? It just went like
Tristan was here. Okay, so we did the podcast on Monday. I worked. I worked for real.
For real.
Tuesday and Wednesday. I did this weird 3 to 3 shift, which I've never done before. So I went in at I had to leave the house at 1:45 and get to work at 2:30. Had to, figure out the whole parking situation thing, make sure that I'm early enough to park. And I had to leave my house in enough time to walk to the hospital. And now the walk from the parking garage to the hospital is about the same length as from our house to the hospital in
Surely
Swainsboro.
not. You think it is, really?
It takes about 7 minutes to get from where I have to park in the parking garage all the way into the emergency room.
That's probably 2/3 of the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that twice. So I'm for real nursing again, starting IVs, talking to patients, talking to parents, getting my bearings in terms of how things work at the new ER. And we set multiple broken bones. Not me personally, but I got to witness multiple broken bones being set.
Anything really exciting?
No. I mean, not from my perspective, but see, that's the weird thing about this new ER is you can be on the other end of the ER and have no inkling that there's really exciting things happening.
It's just so big.
It's so big.
Yeah.
And like the back hall is kind of quieter than the front hall. So depending on where you are. One of my preceptors, one of the nights, lives in our neighborhood. It was cool because she was asking me where I'd moved from and where I'd moved to, and kind of told her, and she said, "Oh, wait, which subdivision do you live in?" And I told her which one, and she was like, "We live there too." I was like,
"What are the chances?"
That is weird.
That is weird.
But it's kind of cool doing the 3 to 3 shift because you get to work. I mean, you get home and it's still dark. And it's just like you just had a really late night instead of you've been up all night long. And so now Tristan was up one night when I got home. And so I ended up staying up talking to him till like 5 a.m. But other than that, somebody up talking to me, I'm going to be able to like walk in the door, come in, go to sleep. And then if I sleep for 6 hours, I can still get up at like 10 a.m. So I have
an almost normal life.
Yeah, and have an almost normal life. So I have a feeling, and that 3 to 3 shift still counts as a night shift. So I have a feeling I'm going to really like the
You're going to enjoy that
I'm going to
change.
enjoy that particular shift if I can get it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So then we, Ben and I stayed in town, but you took Sam and Jude to Swainsboro.
I did on Friday.
Because it's everybody's birthday weekend.
Well, we had to be in town anyway because of the boys' orthodontist appointments. And so I was talking to my sister, or talking to two of my sisters. Talking to Barbara Jean, she was trying to plan when to have two of her kids were born like within a month. Their birthdays were within a month of each other. They weren't born within a month of each other.
Amazing.
Because that would be a crazy.
She's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
But their birthdays are within a month of each other. And then one of my other nieces, her birthday was in July. And Sam's birthday was coming up. So we just decided, well, hey, we'll just throw it all into one afternoon, actually, or one day. So we had River and Rachel's birthday at 10. Birthday parties at 10. Wait a sec. First, I went and got my hair did. I got my hair did at 10. So Rachel and River's party were at 10:30. And then you and Ben arrived around lunchtime. And then got sort of things situated for Sam's birthday party, which was at 4. And then in the meantime, Carrie Lynn is setting up for Grace Elaine's birthday party, which it was kind of a big deal this year because she was turning double digits. So Carrie Lynn wanted to have something a little more special. And she did a glow-in-the-dark party.
It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Like they wrapped the inside of the pool house in black, like plastic. And
black tablecloths.
Yeah, black tablecloth.
Yeah.
And hung
black lights.
These long fluorescent black lights. And they had Dayglow paint. And they had balloons that had little LEDs in them for outside, and what else?
They had glow sticks.
Yeah, glow sticks. Had like
50. I think she had 50 glow sticks.
It was a bunch of glow sticks.
Yeah.
In the pool, and they floated in the pool, so it was really cool. And then they had like, what did I say, Dayglow paint that they were like doing body paint and stuff inside. It was like a rave.
And they had
for like 10-year-olds.
And they had a karaoke machine, so the kids were all
screaming into the karaoke machine.
It was a bunch of mostly little girls, but then like Ben was there and William was there and Anna Lee, and so their cousin Sam and Ben's cousins that are their ages because they were there for Sam's party, and so you really had this really nice wide range.
Yeah, by the end you had a lot of 14-year-olds. There because of like older siblings the kids in the party.
Yeah, and so it was kind of impressive, and even William I think said, for a 10-year-old's birthday party, he had a really good time. And somebody
William
else
is 15.
somebody else said it felt like the sort of end of the summer.
Yeah.
Like it was such a fun thing, so different. It felt like end of summer. Now for Sam,
so hot.
For Sam, it was a little weird because it almost felt like his party was sort of like an in-between. Yeah. Not very exciting.
Which we put nearly no effort into.
But I mean, I wasn't. I knew Carrie Lynn was going to do this thing, but I always forget when Carrie Lynn does a party now. Carrie Lynn does a party. I am not it's not my thing.
Anyway, we need to try to make him feel special next year.
Yes, so he'll be 13.
Or on his actual birthday.
Well, he'll be 13 next year, and we'll actually have lived here for a year, so he'll know people by then.
But he'll actually be 12 in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. So we need to do
Absolutely.
something special for him so he doesn't feel like he's forgotten.
No. And I told him he asked for a blue velvet cake. And so I'm going to try to make that
A
happen on
blue
Thursday.
velvet cake.
Instead of a red velvet cake, it's
Right.
a blue velvet cake.
Not like a blue suede cake.
No, instead of red velvet, it's a blue velvet.
That'd be cool, though.
Yeah.
Like a blue velvet cake in the shape of a shoe.
Like Elvis's.
Yes.
It's probably been done before.
No, never in the history of the world. This is a complete original idea.
So,
Oh, Ben at the party
Oh.
at one point was holding court.
yes, he was.
He had all these little 14-year-old girls
Watching him while
watching
he
him
did
do
magic
card
tricks.
He's into card tricks now. So he's
Right.
got about 4 or 5 really good card tricks.
Which he's been using as icebreakers at school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've kind of have dismissed this card trick thing. You know, it's just like a passing fancy for him, like this weird thing he just kind of got into.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, because
I'm
he's 14.
totally glad he did it. Yeah.
But I think in starting a new school, it's like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Like you can pull it out and all of a sudden, like, people are paying attention to you. And so where you don't know anyone, all of a sudden, I remember you're that kid that did the card trick in
Yeah.
instructional focus or whatever they call that class. So it's cool. Ben and I sat down last night and did math homework.
As
Which-
I did with him Thursday night.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, first of all, how hot it is, how hot it was. And here in Gainesville, it's the same way. I don't know, summer, which it's been wonderful this summer. It's
Yeah, but all
barely
of a sudden
gotten
the
above
last 3 or 4 days. This is the dog days. The dog days of
the
summer.
dog days of summer. So
Yeah.
here in Gainesville, like it got up to 92 and the heat index was 108
Yeah.
because the humidity is ridiculous.
I walked Max today at 6:40. That's when we left the house, and I was sweating like a hog when we came back. And it was at 7 a.m. It was crazy. The reason is that all you want to say about Saturday?
Yes.
The reason Ben and I didn't show up Saturday is we stayed in town Friday night because he's part of this video production class at North Forsyth High School. And
I know what Ben. I was talking about math. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, we'll get back there. Anyway, his teacher asked him if he wanted to help be part of the video crew for the football game. And I forgot to tell the teacher that Ben knows nothing about football. All right. And Ben can't stand football. He doesn't like football.
Right.
So Ben never left school. I just went on home and I had to go pick him up later on at like 9:30.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to show up and he is going to be bored out of his mind. He's going to have had his hands in his pockets the whole time and slumped over because it's around football. And I got there, and he was beaming and wouldn't stop talking about it. He was the director that night of the
Who's the man in the
live,
chair?
the live stream. So he was running like the control booth and
He was
throwing to cameras.
He
and
was in
stuff.
hog heaven.
And apparently, he got to spend about 3 hours in a room with a tall, pretty redhead too. And so he claims he's oblivious to that. It's like, Daddy, I don't even notice stuff like that. Anyway, he loved it. Loved every minute of it.
And
Couldn't
so
stop talking about it.
they've invited him to now be a part of that crew, and so he'll go to even the away games and participate in the live streaming of the games.
Now, Mr. Seawright came in today, and I told him, I said, I meant to tell you when I first saw you this morning that Ben would not stop talking about how much fun he had helping with the video crew Friday night. He said, man, yeah, that's great. You did a great job. But he said, what the problem that I tend to have is the kids that are very enthusiastic about it, about video stuff, don't know anything about football. And I said, I meant to warn you. He said, they just don't know. It's not just Ben. He says, I had a new girl running a camera, and like during the hike, all she did is focus on the line. Like she doesn't even follow the ball. She just focuses on the line.
Oh no!
So she doesn't understand. That's where most of the people are. That makes sense to somebody doing a video.
Like follow the ball.
I said, well, this gives you an excuse to talk to my son about football so that he grows up with an understanding, unlike myself. I still don't understand the game. So anyway, it's going to be a learning experience. But you wanted to say you and Ben were doing
Yeah,
math.
we did math homework last night. You came on back, so I stayed in Swainsboro with the 3 boys, and Tristan left. He was with us on Saturday and hung out with us, and then headed off to Statesboro to school. School started today for him. So Ben and I sat down last night to do math and algebra, and it's really funny. I guess you know, you don't realize what a nerd you are until you sit down and you're actually having a good time figuring out the algebra problems that your son is presenting to you.
Because you don't have enough problems to solve. Your life is too good.
So I was like, oh, Ben, this is fun. Okay, let's do this one. Like, I was having a really good time, and he was getting really frustrated because I don't think, like, the teacher moved so quickly when he was going over it, and I think he's a little bit scared of the teacher. I don't know why. He said he feels like that teacher would be kind of mean if he was having trying to be tutored by him, I think. And so he's avoiding
going to tutoring.
But we were able to sit down and sort of look at the word problems and break them down.
Yeah.
And, you know, I said, you know, look, when you see, you know, I said, you're freaking out over these algebra problems. They're algebra word problems. And I said, like, two consecutive numbers, the sum of two consecutive numbers
Sorry, everybody.
is 26 or something like that. So that's the word problem. And the sum of four consecutive odd integers is 126.
I cannot tell you how bored I am right now.
But that's what I'm telling you.
Let's move on.
That's the kind of problems that they were. And so I was like, look, stop freaking out about this. I said, it's just a math problem. You take what you know. We know that we've got equals 126. So let's take the words and put them in math symbols. And so that's what we did. For like 7 problems, we took the words and we translated them into math symbols. And I think once he got the rhythm of it and he saw how it works, then he was better able to deal with it.
Gotcha.
So it actually ended up, I think, because I was like, Ben, this is really fun, actually. And I think by the end, because he was kind of getting upset at first, but by the end, he was actually, I think, enjoying it like I was, seeing it as a fun thing instead of like something he didn't understand.
Well, we would love to hear your tips on how to work a 14-year-old through Algebra 1. Feedback at catholicinasmalltown.com. That concludes the video portion of the show. If you'd like to hear the rest of the show, please zip on over to, where can they go?
iTunes or catholicinasmalltown.com. iTunes is probably the best place to find us.
See you there.
Like and subscribe.